All right, everyone, welcome to Rhythm and Roads podcast. My name is Joshua Jacob. We have a very special guest. We have two or more all the way from California. So welcome, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks,
brother. Thank
Joshua.
you.
Yes, but what's the story behind how you guys got started as a group? I actually would like to know that. The story
Sure, sure.
behind how two
Well,
or more came together.
of course. Well, I mean, as you know, the three of us in two or more are brothers, blood brothers. So we've been doing music ever since we were little kids. And up into high school, we started doing cover tunes, and we formed a cover band.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so then we started doing some original material and hit the Sunset Strip in LA, and got picked up by Columbia Records at an early age, late teens, early 20s. So we
Oh,
had what
nice.
they call a development deal. So they assigned a producer to us. And interestingly, it was the same guy who had worked with Journey, David Bowie back in the
Oh,
past.
wow.
So
That's
for
cool.
us, yeah, we were like on cloud nine. You could imagine that.
Oh,
And
man.
so we're thinking, we're on our way, dude.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so quick, quickly we were pretty disillusioned with the way things were going. And as hard as it was for us, we pulled out, and all our friends and everyone around us, all our peers were saying, "What are you guys doing? You have the opportunity of a lifetime here." And I know, but we're just not really content with the whole thing. We had this whole work ethic thing at the time. We're thinking, let's just work and then we play later. But at the time, the producer was always showing up intoxicated or high. So we just weren't really pleased with the way things were going. So we walked away from that.
Wow.
At the time, we had an old buddy of ours who was actually getting himself right with the Lord and started to attend church over at Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa.
Oh, okay.
And so he was kind of tickling Renato's ear a little bit, our lead singer. And interestingly, during that period of time, Renato had come to faith. So by '92, there was the birth of two or more right there with Renato and our old friend Lance.
Oh,
And
wow.
Eddie, if you want to pick it up from there, you can, Eddie.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of little details. It could take forever to explain the story, but in a
Hmm.
nutshell, Renato, being the youngest brother, he gave his life to the Lord, and we grew up, in a Catholic background, so we thought, hey, we believe all that, but we had no idea, what it meant to be truly born again of the Spirit, and all the things that come with that, the revelation of God, the Spirit leading you to do things that are right as opposed to doing what's wrong. So growing up in a religious background, it was kind of like, you go to church on Sundays and you get confession, and then you do it all over again, the partying and all that stuff. And then every Sunday you do the confession again and all that stuff. But so Renato got saved, and he started coming to, because Walter and I kept playing for a short period too, with we were auditioning singers and other musicians and stuff to keep the wheel turning.
Okay.
And so Renato and Lance, those two, they came to some of the rehearsals, like towards the end, and we talked to Walter and I about, Christianity, like again, I thought, we know who Jesus is, but anyhow, so long story short is I went to a couple midweek studies at Costa Mesa, got plugged into a college and career group too, people my
Oh,
age,
okay.
and so that's when, the God started working, Spirit started working in my life. And, even though I had known who he was, I didn't know him, I didn't know Jesus. And so it wasn't until probably a couple more months went by, and I gave my life to the Lord at a college and career group on a Wednesday night.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, yeah. And so I felt a conviction about music that God had been using. I believe he'd been shaping us up, for, musically, for all this stuff that we're currently doing now. But I feel like there was a time when I just felt like music had been my God, and the Spirit revealed that to me. And
Oh,
I just felt like, what, I need to sell a lot of my stuff. So I sold a lot of my stuff,
oh, wow.
and so I bought an acoustic guitar. And I'd never really owned an acoustic guitar. I'd been playing electric pretty much, up until then, and started writing again, with just a new meaning, just a new heart,
Wow.
and so I started writing with Renato and Lance again, and then Walter. Well, why don't you go ahead and kick it from there, Walt, since you
Sure.
came up.
Yeah. Hand the baton over to me now. Yeah. Perfect.
And just let you know,
So
Eddie, your videos at still, it's kind of like, I don't know if you see that, Walter.
I don't even
Is it?
see Eddie.
Okay, let me
Yeah.
see. Can you hear me? You can hear me
Yeah,
though?
I can hear you, but you're kind of like frozen, so you're not even. I just see you at
Okay.
a standstill. Yeah,
I'm not sure what
we
happened.
definitely heard everything. Yeah,
Yeah, I can see
Maybe.
you.
that's
I can
weird.
see you guys, but yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
Okay,
Why don't you guys go ahead and go and I'll see if I can go on and I'll see if I can figure this out.
okay. If you want to log back in, that's fine too.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
I think he's having a bad hair day, Joshua. So maybe he's just,
Right.
yeah.
No problem.
Yeah. So
So,
perfect timing.
go ahead. What you were saying? With what?
No, I was just going to say it's perfect timing. So basically, it comes back to me, being the last of the four too. In my case, it was more of rededication to
Oh,
the
okay.
Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had known the Lord, and then at 18 through about 26, I started doing my own thing. So let's just call it a backslidden state, really.
Oh,
You
okay.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was about 93 where I actually recommitted myself to the Lord as I was exiting my house. An ex-girlfriend and I were splitting up and we're going our own ways, and the Lord used that to prompt me to coming back.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's pretty much it in a nutshell there. So by the end of 93, we were regrouped again, but this time to share music for the Lord. And it was really unintentional for it to become a full-time music ministry. Our intention was just simply to go in and to lead and guest worship wherever the Lord would open up doors. And it started at Costa Mesa.
Yeah.
And it was Pastor Chuck Smith's Thursday night study. So that
Oh,
was
wow.
that,
Pastor Chuck Smith, huh?
yeah, yeah. So that was kind of cool, But I got to tell you, after so many years of attending the traditional church, one wouldn't feel like they were like privileged enough to go up to the altar, so to speak,
Oh,
right?
right. You would feel, yeah,
So
I know what you mean.
a little intimidated,
Yeah.
somewhat, Sorry.
Not worthy enough
So I
to go
remember
up there. Yeah.
that's exactly right. So I remember going up onto the stage to share for the very first time. It was our rendition of the Lord's Prayer, "Dear Our Father who art in heaven."
Oh, okay.
And it was done in a very acoustic folk style, So that's basically how we started as a ministry musically. And then I remember being nervous going up and happened to see Pastor Chuck up on the stage, sitting back on a chair, and his face, he's that smile. He's known for that smile, that comforting smile that
Yeah.
radiates, over everyone. And so when I looked over, it was as if the Lord had used him to just give me a sense of peace and a calm. Hey, come on up, share what you've got, and do your thing. So
That's
it
awesome.
was it was pretty cool. Yeah.
That is cool. Wow.
It's
And
interesting how the
go
Lord
ahead.
lines all that. Yeah, it's interesting how the Lord lined all that up. It's just like I said, when I gave up music altogether, music had been my God, so I gave up that part of my life, and to see God bring it back, in a way that we gave up music. It wasn't like something we were pursuing anymore. It was just, we played out of Bible study and then Pastor Chuck study, and then little did we know, word of mouth, we started going to different churches, different Bible studies, and not knocking on doors, just let the Lord do His thing, and that led us to some producers in Christian music a couple years later, and then Greg Laurie had us a lot at his church, and we did a couple of Harvest Crusades, and
Oh, you did?
and I, I,
No
I
way.
yeah, and I didn't even know what Harvest Crusades were.
Oh,
I didn't know. I had no idea that there was even radio, Christian radio, Christian a market in Christian music, and so God just took that and just kind of did what He wanted to do. And when kids ask me sometimes, like even in Christian music, this how do I get to do what you're doing? I really don't know how to answer that, other than we gave our lives to the Lord, and He had a plan for that,
uh,
So you know,
yeah. That's so cool that you had a part of the Harvest Crusades. I've never been to one, but I heard those arenas are so packed, almost just it's just that a lot of people are giving their lives to the Lord. It's amazing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They've
We
expanded quite a
started.
bit.
They did. We actually were there during the pioneering stages. It was probably, I think, 94 before we actually signed, if I remember correctly. We had the opportunity to go up and share a song, and
Oh yeah. Wow.
then once we got signed, and we had, yeah, so that was pretty cool. So Greg Lloyd was one of the first pastors to open up their doors to our ministry.
That's
Aside
awesome.
from Pastor Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was almost like a rebirth of the Jesus movement, because we had that folk sound that I was kind of telling you about, very
Yeah.
acoustic.
Yeah,
you know, bell-bottom jeans, but barefoot, you know,
yeah,
Long hair.
the whole hippie thing.
right, right.
Yeah. So it was pretty authentic, pretty organic, you
Yeah,
know. So it was really cool. And as Eddie was saying, we
cool.
had no intentions of getting signed. And next thing you know, our music's get out on the radio in the South in particular, because contemporary Christian music is very popular out there.
Yeah,
And we got a taste a wave of that. And next thing you know, we're touring quite a bit, playing with quite a few groups that, we, began to admire, label mates with other groups that we thought, wow, we're, we're working with these guys. It was pretty cool. I don't like the name drop, but it was really a privilege and an opportunity that the Lord gave us and opened up doors for us to continue to do what we're doing some almost 30 years later. So
um,
we've been blessed. We're grateful.
that's cool. I remember, if you don't mind me saying or their name, but you said John Elefante was one of them.
Yeah, he was
Yes.
he was the producer, he and his brother Dino. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And John
awesome.
used to sing for Kansas back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 Kansas. I've actually listened to John's solo work of his own Christian albums. They're actually really good. Yeah. Back in
Yes.
the
Yeah.
90s.
Amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
he's
so
he's pretty brilliant. He's just very anointed. Just and it's good. It's cool to see how God uses people of that caliber. Even in Christian music. And he was always kind of a little bit. It didn't really quite fit the format because it was so, I don't know. It was very
Ahead of
different.
his time.
Very yeah,
yeah,
kind of yeah, yeah. It was really really good. It still is. He
awesome.
still continues to do certain things, but not
Yeah.
as much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're grateful to the guys. I mean, John and Dino giving us that opportunity. We always make it a point to share that with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, great guys, talented, funny. So our experience with them in the studio and out of the studio, pretty amazing. Pretty
That's
amazing.
awesome. Cool, cool. And
Yeah.
then are you guys working on any new music right now?
Well, we
Yes,
released
we're
a Christmas song. Go ahead, Eddie. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah. We hadn't really done anything original in a while. We just been kind of we've been playing songs that we've written over the years.
Okay.
But the last few years we've been writing a little more, and actually there are some songs that are like old, like Christian songs that were around back in the like 70s, and we kind
Oh,
of
wow.
revamped them a little bit. And so
Yeah.
we've been playing them live, and people have been asking, how do we get that? And so those are kind of in the pre-production stage right now,
Oh, no
along
way.
with
Okay.
yeah, so along with some originals that we're working right now.
Oh,
So yeah, so there is some stuff coming up, and we did do a Christmas song back this last Christmas, 2023, an
mhm.
original song. So that was kind of our first original in a long time that we put out.
Nice. Okay. And have you ever
Yeah.
guys thought about writing a book about your journey, or do you guys have a book already out?
No, I don't
Hadn't
think
hadn't
any of
really
us are
talked about it.
No?
No.
yet.
Although it does tickle the mind on occasion, it just kind of pops through for like a brief moment. But that's a good thought. There'd be a lot to put down for
Oh
sure.
yeah, for sure.
A
Yeah.
lot of dynamics and a lot of things that have transpired over the years for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely encourage you guys to write one. Yeah, because I mean the story you guys have is incredible, and then the fact that you have so much great music out there, you can even probably put here's an idea, but like maybe during some chapters of your journey, you can have some lyrics from your songs in there, written
Mm,
in there. That way, when people read your journey of that point, they see the lyrics from "Awaken Me" or "Walk on the Water," some lyrics that were written in there. I think that'd be
that's a
cool.
great idea. See,
You know
that's
what I mean?
that's why we need someone like you on board to give us those ideas.
Hey man, I would love to help you guys out. It's always been my dream to help a Christian band in any way. I talked to
Great
God
idea.
the other day because I lately, like, we could be kind of raw in here, but I was discouraged a bit, and I was just kind of like, God, like, I've been here a month, but there's that I'm very artistic. I really like doing film. I'm a drummer as well. But a part of me
Mm,
is just like, God, when is it my time to like go and be in a Christian band or do a Christian film? And because I'm
yeah.
at Costco right now, but I'm being artistic. You do have that itch where you're like, I want to go out there already and look forward to
Yeah.
that.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. So and there's different roles, and even in what we do, like Walt's the administrative guy, or else we wouldn't be booked. We wouldn't I don't have that mind. He's very organized and he wears that hat. And so we
That's
kind of
awesome.
overlap a little bit here and there, but where one picks off, the other one, where one is kind of weak, the other one picks up, and
Right,
so
right.
but to have that mind though, I totally understand that. For me, I feel like my strength is sitting in the studio and just coming up with an idea, a hook, and then creating that musically, and
Yeah.
then maybe sometimes melodically, and I have a lyric idea or something. But that's that's kind of my strength, and so that's where I stop.
All right. And then your other brother, what is his role in the group?
So Renato, he's along the same lines of where I'm at, but he's a lead singer, so he thinks melodically, very melodically. So he'll come up with melodies, really cool melodies, and I'll put music to him. Or I'll come up with music and he'll put a melody to it,
Oh,
and he's also we've both been in the production and recording part, engineering aspect of our own stuff since we became independent a few years ago. And
okay.
so, but we've learned a lot from people that we've worked with, and people with good ears, and kind of, so we kind of know what we're doing, but
Oh, of course. Yeah.
so that's his strength is I believe is probably along the lines of production, and that kind of thing.
Okay. And you guys have your own recording
Yeah.
studio?
Yeah, yeah. So we have a couple. Renato has one in his house, and then I have one here at my house.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And yeah, yeah. So we kind of like go back and forth.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, yeah, I would definitely love to anytime I can be of help. One thing that I'm good at from I guess Walter's role is doing like I've been doing this for almost a year. So I've reached out to I look up websites, get the emails, and then I just send them to these directors, to these artists, just like I did with you. And lately I've been getting, some responses, majority responses, and I'm like, cool. My girlfriend's like, man, you have a God giving you talent or favor or something where these people that don't even know you give you a chance. And there's been
Yeah,
people that are up there in like I even would get some friends of mine back home in El Paso, some gigs. I would reach out to certain arenas, certain venues, and they're like, sure, yeah. And I'm just like, man, I should be like a manager.
yeah.
But
No,
that's not really my
that's
goal is to do that. It's just I like to, like I guess make deals just to set up arrangements, like I'm doing with this. Just, hey, look,
yeah,
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 it could very well be the stepping stone leading to where you ultimately want to be.
could be,
Um, and it could be a mixture of both of them down the line. I honestly didn't see myself doing the administrative bookkeeping and merch ordering and all that stuff. But the Lord, as Eddie said, had given me that role early on, and we had some great teachers along the way. Because initially, when we got signed, the label does it all. They
oh,
got their staff that does
yeah.
all the radio promo, all the bookings. We had a manager, road manager, all that stuff,
Mm,
and we learned quite a bit. So we're able to absorb that. And, of course, Eddie and Renato, when we were in the studio, they'd be, watching John and Dino, and they'd pick up on a lot of stuff. So, no, it's been a great ride, and it's awesome that we could be independent this day, sometime later, and continue to do what we love to do. We do have our moments, just like anyone else. No matter what you do, you grow tired, you grow weary,
mm,
but that's all the more reason to stay plugged into the Lord, and of course, fellowship with others to kind of encourage and move us along, and to recognize, that we've been blessed with something, a responsibility,
mm.
and then try to enjoy the ride. It's
Yeah,
it's
enjoy
it's
it.
really a privilege that we have, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
of course.
Yeah, I think it's important to remember too that everything we're talking about right now, all the hats we're talking about, that it's all for one purpose. When
Right.
you at the end of the day, is to bring glory and honor to the Lord. And however it is that, whatever it takes to do that, that's he'll show us how to do that in one way or another. But it's just to bring glory to Him, and to let others know about Him. So that's
Yeah,
that's the purpose.
that is definitely the purpose. Awesome. Would you guys ever consider down the road having a film made about the story behind you guys, two or more?
Wow,
That
that's
that
another
would
great
be
idea.
that'd be great too. Maybe start with the book,
Yes.
and then go from there and put it on the big screen. No, that's kind of an exciting thing to consider for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, because there's a lot of independent Christian filmmakers that are looking to do stories, and they're doing some just really on different pastors, musicians, their stories, So like Jesus
That's,
Revolution was a great movie, but it wasn't,
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I really encourage you guys to look into the book and then possibly a film. I
that's
know,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I know Petra's doing a film right now.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw it on their story that it's Beyond Belief, I guess, a remake, and so they're in,
Yeah.
but they're not the main ones. They're not the main stars, but they're part of it. So I was like, oh, that's
Right.
cool. So I don't know.
Yeah, they would have to find like a Fabio for me to play me, like somebody who's
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just
That,
just
That's
kidding.
funny,
that's that's Eddie's humility coming out, bro.
That's
By the way, I dig your hat, bro. I just noticed it.
oh yeah, thank you. Walter sent it to me. Yeah, it's just
Oh,
for this interview here. So thank you so much. Yeah, I'm gonna be
Yeah, it
repping
looks
this
sharp,
one.
bro.
I do want to
Right
go
on, man.
to the Life in the Diamond Lane, that album. I
Mhm.
remember from the last time when we had the interview, There Is a Kingdom, and I believe that was based on your late grandmother. Is that what it was?
Well, actually, that was Heaven is Calling Your Name, which is what
Oh, that
Eddie
was that
wrote.
one. All right, I got mixed up. But what was
Yeah,
the story
but
behind There Is a Kingdom?
yeah, so that was basically that was a song that I wrote, and it happened to be during a period of time where I was coming back to the Lord.
Oh, okay.
Going through some stuff as I mentioned earlier, an ex-girlfriend and I, splitting up and all that. And as I was vacating the condo, I just started, humming a melody, and just the words just started to come together. And Eddie happened to show up, and I think he had his guitar. I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, and which is interesting within itself because we're clearing the place out. So we were just there, just playing a bit, just jamming, and it all just kind of came together. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I remember Walt was pretty beat up, and he had these lyrics, and it's just questioning, sincerely, how, like, God's a big boy, he can take it, he wants to hear your heart. So Walt was writing these lyrics out about, where is this kingdom, what is this you're talking about, and so forth. So sometimes, to get deep with God, you got to go through deep things, and that was Walt's journey through that time. And I remember hearing that, and it just sparked an acoustic guitar part, and I just started playing it, and he started singing it, and yeah,
That acoustic part is amazing. I love the melody. It's great. I mean,
oh,
the lyrics are
praise,
great. Everything's great, but the guitar part's it's just awesome, man. Yeah.
praise the Lord, awesome.
Yeah. With that first album, what was the story behind it of how it came about? Like the first song and just the idea behind it?
So that album, that was our first album that went out nationally as Christian artists.
Yeah.
And it was the summer of '96 that it was released.
Oh wow, yeah.
So I got saved like '93, and
Okay.
Walt got saved like probably mid '93, early '94, I think it was. And so it was pretty interesting how that happened quickly. Walt got saved, and then we were all saved. And then, like I said, we started playing small Bible studies. Pastor Chuck invited us to a Thursday night, I think 2 weeks after Walt got saved. And Pastor Chuck had no idea. He just heard the song, and he's all, can you guys come play at the Thursday? So we did. And so that quickly led us to, I guess, some engineers that had known John and Dino Elefante.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so that's how we met John and Dino Elefante, through these people that were at Costa Mesa listening to us play. And from so they invited us into their studios in Los Alamitos when they were still living here in California.
Oh, okay.
And so we had like 4 or 5 or 6 songs at the time. So we just recorded them live, just in the room. And they gave the songs to John and Dino, and they said, "Oh yeah, we like this." So we started working with them, and they took us to a label, Star Song, which eventually became our first record, Life in the Diamond Lane. And so that happened, like I said, probably within 2 years after Walt had been saved, because Walt was the last one to get saved. So that's how that Life in the Diamond Lane came about.
Wow. It's such an incredible album too. I
great, man.
Thank you,
remember
brother.
the cassette tapes too when they were out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Cassettes and CDs were cutting edge at the time, you know.
yeah,
So
man.
it's yeah, it was
And my
it
own
was a
father
treat.
had a cassette tape of that album.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's funny. And then
Yeah,
the
it was that was
go ahead.
I was gonna say it was quite a ride with when that coming together. I like to call it our 15 minutes in the sun. You know, we had a couple songs that were charting. The first one was "He's There," and then "Heaven Is Calling Your Name," and "What Would You Say," and a couple others. And
Oh yeah.
it was just weird that we were still actually living here on the West Coast, and this was blowing up like in the South. And
Oh
we would
wow.
listen to the John Rivers Countdown, which is a radio station. I think it was called KLTY. Is that right, Eddie? In
Yeah, they're in
Dallas.
Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they would have basically what that was, it was like their answer to Casey Kasem, so to speak, top
Oh,
40,
all
that
right.
kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and my wife and I, just newly married at the time, and we would listen to it, and then they would introduce and three guys from Southern California, Eddie Renatto. It's like, oh my gosh, this is really happening, guys. So it was pretty exciting. It really was
That's
to
cool.
hear that going on and songs going out and then touring, and wow, it's just grateful, bro. Just grateful.
So,
Oh,
there's a funny moment I want to add to that too, because like Walt said, at that time we were living here and we had jobs. I was working at a doctor's office, and Walter and Renato were both working for the county of Orange,
oh,
and
okay.
Renato was working for the county of Orange for the animal control. So he was canvassing. So he was going door to door, checking if people had pets, that they had licenses. So he was going door to door and he was listening to the radio. He had earbuds on in his little Walkman, and so at the time, they had just released "He's There," and like I said, we didn't. Yeah, I think there was a radio station which was Air One here
Oh,
in
okay.
Southern California, and so Renato was listening because our radio promoter said that their radio stations are picking up that single, and a lot of them are. So
Wow.
Renato was walking to a house and he was listening to it. And as he's talking to the lady, he hears a song come on, and he's like, hold on, wait. And he's like, they're playing my song on the radio.
Oh
Listen.
man.
And the lady
That's
got all
so
excited.
cool.
So
That
that I
is
thought that was kind of hilarious.
that's funny.
Almost like that movie that came out about the same time, 1996. I don't know if you remember it, but it's a Tom Hanks movie called That Thing You
Oh,
Do.
yes, I love that movie. Yeah.
It was kind of like that. When they hear their song on the radio, they're going nuts. They're going, no, listen, oh my gosh,
Yeah, they're all going
crazy.
nuts. Yeah. I remember that scene that scene in the movie is hilarious. So they're all raising up the radios in there and yeah, they're
Yeah,
all
It was
singing.
fun.
Yeah, that's and Tom Hanks actually directed that movie. Did you know that?
yeah, that's what I
That,
heard.
that's
Yeah,
what I heard,
Great movie.
and it was actually done like right down the street. I live here in Placentia, which is Yorba Linda, Orange County area, and I'm only like 5 minutes.
you sound like a robot right
Are
now.
you there, Joshua?
Can you say that again?
Oh, I was just saying that where they filmed that movie, That Thing You Do, is just right down the street from where I live here in
Oh,
Orange
is
County.
it? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
No, but as you said, great movie, and I thought it'd
Very
be a
good.
perfect parallel to
Oh,
share
yeah.
that with you because that was the excitement that we were generating, what we were feeling at the time.
Oh,
So
yeah. I can imagine how you guys felt hearing your own song on the radio. Like, that's awesome,
It,
man. The
yeah,
album, before we end, I do want to get into the album Walk on the Water.
hmm
But that
yeah,
one, what inspired that album
yeah, yeah.
to be started on that?
Cool stuff.
Oh, Walter's, I guess, raising up.
yeah. He's
Sounds
There
like
you go.
I've blown up a little bit.
Hey, Walt, you there? Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah,
There
there
you
you go.
are.
I'm right here.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, dude. So the
Okay,
question was walking on the water.
go ahead.
Yeah, what
Go ahead,
inspired
Eddie.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
band to start that album, the second one?
So that I'll take over because I think Walt's having some issues.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was our sophomore release after Life in the Diamond Lane, and basically what happened is after I think there was three releases off of Life in the Diamond Lane that made radio,
Oh, wow.
and there's and like again like there music, it's a business, and what happened is the company was bought out by a secular company after the third release. So that kind of disturbed a little bit of the momentum with the artists that had been new, to the label, which we were one of them.
Oh,
So they kept a lot of the older artists and just let the new ones go. So that led us to another company that John and Dino took us to, because they still believe that, in their hearts, that we needed to get out there. So they took us to a company called Pamplin, and they're the ones that helped us record "Walking on the Water." So there was an outlet there. They were a new company, so they didn't have it all together, but nevertheless, we were able to get that record done and promote it somewhat. It could have been they could have done better, but again, they were a new company. They didn't really last either. They were only around for maybe 3 or 4 years, and they were gone.
that was it?
But
Oh, wow.
yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah. So, but that's what led us to Walking on the Water. Yeah.
Wow, okay. And I remember when I would go to family Christian stores, that I would see that album on display.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it was interesting because at the time, uh, they'd released the first single they released on that album was a song called uh, what was it called, Walt? Do you
Heaven Out of
remember?
Sight.
Oh yeah, a song called Heaven Out of Sight. Yeah, yeah. And so that song was so what happened is that we do radio promo or bookstore promotion tours, because that's how you would promote your songs. You would go to the bookstores, Christian
Oh,
bookstores.
okay.
And so we'd get to the bookstores and they'd go, "You guys have a song out, a new record?" And so that's how the new label didn't have it all together. So we'd be
Oh,
promoting
wow.
stuff that they didn't even know we had out. Typically they need to you figure they'd have the stuff already, right?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, they kind of dropped the ball on that, and it was it was a great record. It was pretty deep. I think it was a little even deeper than Life in the Diamond Lane, with some of the messages, and just we did some co-writing with a guy named Billy Batstone, who's been around for years too in the Jesus movement, and great songwriter in his own right. So we did a lot of collab with him, and it was a great record. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it is an incredible record as well. Both of them are. But yeah, I remember when I listened to the second album, I was like, man, this one's a good encore to have, man, after the first. You guys still
Yeah,
songs were hits, man, on that second album. Yeah. Well,
basically, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
well, thank you guys for coming on. I know you guys have other things to do, but I really appreciate your time and sharing your testimony, your story, and the journey being as the group two or more. And I hope to see you
Okay.
guys play because it's been like probably over 10 years since I've seen you guys play. And the last time I saw you,
Yeah,
Well,
also, yeah, but it's
yeah.
probably
We were just there. We were in New Mexico not too long, I think, after the
your
first
Rancho.
interview. Yeah, and then we were just in El Paso, I think, couple weeks ago for Father's Day,
Oh,
and
nice.
then. But I think when we left New Mexico, I think the fire, or no, when we left El Paso a few weeks ago, the fires started in Ruidoso, New Mexico.
Oh, Ruidoso, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was pretty tragic. I was
Oh,
hearing a lot of that on the news. Yeah,
yeah, that was pretty bad. Well, I'm glad
yeah,
you guys made it out pretty safe getting out there because I think that like around those areas it was really bad just to even get out of town. So
yeah, yeah. Hopefully
yeah,
everything's okay over there. Yeah.
yeah.
right. But yeah, it's interesting. I think you've moved just recently from El Paso to Rio Rancho, so uh, we might see you even sooner than anticipated. We're planning on going out to New Mexico, Albuquerque, Rio Rancho area in September. I'll definitely keep you posted, Joshua.
Wait. Hold on. You said you're gonna come out in September or October to Albuquerque?
Yeah, exactly. And more than likely that church in Rio Rancho that we were just at for an evening concert. So
Oh,
it'll be on our website. We'll
okay.
have the calendar on there, and of course I'll shoot you a personal message. That way you've got it, and you know the exact date and time and all that stuff. But yeah, so we can actually connect again. Be great in
That'd
person.
be awesome. Yeah, because Albuquerque is only like 20 minutes from Rio Rancho. So,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my God. Well, then I look
Just make
forward to
sure you wear
that.
your tour more hat.
Yes, for sure. And I'm gonna be in the very front aisle.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely let me know that. That way I can ask for it off from work. And I definitely want to be there when you guys come. You said September, October?
It'll be in September, October sometime. I'm piecing that together right now. It'll probably be like a 4 or 5 day stint, like a little trip,
Oh,
and more than like Yeah, more than likely we'll be at Calvary Chapel Rio Rancho on a Saturday night for an evening night of worship / concert. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, keep me posted,
Yeah.
Walter, on that. Well, thank you
Will
guys.
do, Joshua.
Thank you, Eddie and Walter, for coming on. I appreciate your time. And I look forward to seeing you guys in September or October. So,
Bless you, bro.
yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
a joy, brother. Thank you for having us, man.
Yeah, no problem. All right, guys. Thank you again for coming on Rhythm and Roads podcast. I'll catch you on the next episode.